Welcome back to Gaelic Games Fan TV. Cuala are the Dublin Senior Football Champions for the very first time. They have beaten Kilmacud Crokes by a scoreline of 14 points to 110. It was certainly a frantic finish, a frantic ending, with obviously Kilmacud Crokes getting a late goal towards the end, Con O'Callaghan getting sent off as well. But Cuala hung on, and a massive win, a famous win in more ways than one for Cuala GAA, a club that's very much been known for its dominance really in hurling down the years, winning All-Irelands, winning multiple club titles, and funnily enough, those club titles have probably dried up in the last couple of years, and it's actually been the footballers who have been somewhat looking more likely to go on and actually win the Dublin Senior Football Championship. But as we know, it is such a hard thing to do when you have a team like Kilmacud Crokes around who have an absolute embarrassment of riches. I mean, they have the likes of Paul Mannion, Galway All-Star and one of the best footballers in the country in Shane Walsh, and then Paddy O'Connor, who's been arguably their best player throughout the club championship this year as well, and he's obviously a very well-known Sligo footballer. So, Kilmacud Crokes have a real star-studded team, from 1 to 15, and it's no surprise to see how well they've played throughout the Dublin Championship this year. But this was the one game where you thought, I remember when Cuala played Kilmacud Crokes a couple of years ago, I think it was 2-3 years ago, and Crokes just about got over the line. I think it was a quarter final maybe. I remember the game was live on RTE, and Crokes just about snuck over the line, and that was really the closest anyone had actually come to beating Crokes up until, I would probably say, maybe an All-Ireland Club semi-final. I think when they played, I remember they played a Kerry team in that semi-final. I was at the game. Can't quite remember it now, to be fair. But they got over the line that day and obviously went on to win the All-Ireland. And you're often looking at Cuala and thinking, they've got a lot of, obviously, county stars on their side. And Con O'Callaghan, Mick Fitzsimons is obviously in there. Padraig O'Cuffig Byrne is in there as well. And you're kind of wondering, can they do it? Can they make that step up? Can they maybe be the ones to topple Crokes? Because, to be honest, we've been looking at Nafina, we've been looking at Ballyboden St Enda's, Ballymun-Kickhams have obviously got some very good footballers in their ranks as well. Raheny have certainly made strides in recent years and came very close to beating them last year. In fact, took them to a penalty shootout. So you're thinking, can Cuala do it? Because when Crokes have come up against Kickhams, when they've come up against Bowden, they've found a way more often than not to win. And more often than not, it's actually been quite comfortable as well, to be honest with you. So you were thinking maybe Cuala could give them a bit more of a scare, like what Raheny did last year. And to be fair, they did that. From the start of the game, they were by far the better side. Crokes just didn't get going at all. 1 point in the opening 25 minutes, and that was from Hugh Kenny. And to be fair to Cuala, they dominated those early exchanges. And one thing that's always been so prevalent about this Kilmacud Crokes side is that they sort of just strangle teams, really. If that's the way of putting it, they suffocate teams, they build up a lead, they control the games. One of their biggest skills and their biggest assets in this Crokes side has been their ability just to shut down teams. They did it last year against Bowden in the final. They did it the year previous against Nafina as well. And this was really, you were expecting this to be no different. But to be fair, it was the other way around. Cuala were absolutely brilliant. Padraig O'Cuffig Byrne was brilliant. Mick Fitzsimons scored 2 points within the opening 20 minutes. Con was getting on the score sheet as well. There were 7 points to 1 up, and you were thinking, Crokes have got a long way to come back here. And even though there's only 20 minutes in, that Crokes at some point are going to get a burst of energy. They're going to get momentum. They've been in similar scenarios before where they've had to dig themselves out from behind. And they obviously get a point from Paul Mannion just before half-time. And you're thinking, okay, 5-point lead at half-time. Maybe Crokes might have something a bit more in the second half. Cuala had 2 massive goal chances in the first half as well, Con O'Callaghan, one which was saved. And you're thinking, will Cuala go back to rue those missed chances? It is worth mentioning as well, the conditions definitely played its part, obviously, in this game as well. Numerous occasions where passes were going astray. It looked like a very sloppy game at the best of times. But I don't think we should be going, signalling out the Football Review Committee for this game. In fairness, it actually was a very good game in my opinion. Conditions just made it a little bit tougher for some of the players out there, and you can completely understand it, especially when there was so much on the line, obviously, as well. But to be fair to Crokes, they did battle back. Shane Walsh kicked his first point on the 50th minute. Brilliant work by Cuala, in fairness, to keep his score down. And just gradually so, you just felt like Crokes were just about narrowly coming back into it. And then obviously a huge moment. Luke Ward gets the goal, and then Conor O'Callaghan is obviously sent off as well. And you're thinking, you know, with about 5 to 10 minutes obviously left in this game, plus injury time and whatever else might come, you're thinking, right, this could be it now. This could be it. Like, can Cuala, will they have what it takes to hang on? But in fairness, they do. You know, they do hang on. Luke Heaton obviously gets a big point, and then Owen Kennedy manages to strike the winner. And yeah, incredible scenes for Cuala football. Massive congratulations to them. They've obviously been a bit of a hurling stronghold, and they haven't been able to translate that to football, probably because they've been so dominant in hurling, and I do think it's a lot tougher obviously for dual players nowadays. In fairness, Cuala are a club with huge resources, there's absolutely no doubt about that, so it's not exactly like a fairy tale story as such in Dublin. You know, I remember like 10 years ago, you're nearly looking at this Cuala team and thinking, are they going to, you know, with Mick Fitzsimons and Con, are they going to, you know, maybe win one at one stage? But as we know, that doesn't always happen. Like, there's lots of very good club teams in Dublin, and it's very, very hard to win, especially when you do have a side like Crokes, which are so dominant over the last couple of years. And we're bidding to actually become the first team in the Dublin Senior Football Championship to win 4 in a row since the 1960s. But massive congratulations to Cuala. Fair play to their manager, Austin O'Malley, as well. Mayo native as well. So probably a little bit unusual for a Mayo man to, you know, win a county title for a Dublin club. But in fairness, he's done a tremendous job. He really, really has. And he's definitely a man, I think, that should be maybe noticed more in the Mayo conversation potentially as well for future jobs or whatever. I think he's done a tremendous job with Cuala. He really, really has, because like Cuala were playing senior too just a couple of years ago as well. Like, they haven't been a consistent team. Like, and they haven't, like, this was their first county final in, God knows, I think this might have been their first county final ever. So, like, they haven't really been getting to county finals. Like, so for them to have done it, get to the final, and then obviously go and, you know, beat Ballymun in the semis and then go and beat Crokes in the final, I think is an extraordinary, extraordinary achievement. Do let me know your thoughts, your opinions in the comments down below. For Kilmacud Crokes, it is obviously a massive setback. It certainly will hurt them. There's no doubt about that. Obviously, having, you know, been knocked out in the All Ireland semi-finals last season as well. And you know, there's no doubt that would have hurt them in the process. But it does show how competitive the Dublin Football Championship is. And I've always said before, the best time to beat this Crokes team is in the Dublin Championship. And in the last couple of years, like I predicted Na Fianna to win it this year. I just had that feeling that Crokes wouldn't win it. And to be fair, Crokes actually fairly beat Na Fianna fairly comfortably in the semi-finals. But I just felt like Crokes have been playing with fire a little bit in Dublin in the last couple of years, and that maybe at some point they were going to get caught because of the quality that is in the county, and that was on show today. There's no doubt about it. Obviously, Robbie Brennan will be leaving and going to manage Meath, so it will be a bit of changes maybe coming to Crokes in the next while, and who knows, maybe it'll have to go out and re-enter the transfer market or something of that nature. It's a bad joke, to be fair, but you do get my gist. It is a joke, so for any Crokes fans who are watching, don't get too offended by it. But look, fair play to Cuala. They get over the line. Just going through some scores on the day. Conor O'Callaghan scored a point. Luke Heaton with 3. Cal Doran, who to be fair had a very good game as well, he scored 3 points for Cuala. And for Crokes, Shane Walsh with 3 points in total, Paul Mannion with 4, Darren Mullen, Craig Diaz and Hugh Kenny all getting on the score sheet as well. So fair play to Cuala for getting over the line. Massive, massive win for them. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions on the game in the comments down below. Hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I will be dropping a video tomorrow giving my thoughts on all the new rules and everything else, having watched obviously all 4 games. Definitely some interesting opinions on that, so we'll be looking at some tweets and everything else, so do check that video out tomorrow. But until then, hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll catch you all later.